Recluse for so long, I literally looked out our small front door window and watched the crops change. Any phone calls to me were shortened with my near silence. Only a persistent, soul-loving ex-pastor of mine named Howard was allowed some personal communication from me. Once a week on Friday nights, my wife and faithful friends nudged me to play cards after they, unashamed of me, took us out to eat. Being so uncomfortable in public, I couldn't wait to be back home and secluded. But being around strangers was easy compared to people that knew my condition. There was no natural affection from me to others or God anymore, only pity and sadness towards a loving wife and a childlike sister. Approximately a year of not being able to focus, I then plunged myself into reading to forget about me. Reading often until morning, I completed current events magazines, newspapers, novels, a Western series, and watched political and historical documentaries on public television. 3.5 years of this found me very informed for a blue collar. I will now read my experience and testimony titled Down, Down, Down to Up, Up, Up. Well over 4.5 years in depression, then back to a better than normal state leads everyone to ask, how did you come out of that long depression? People don't ask me what led to my depression. Most know that there are dozens of causes that leads to the collapse of the mind, heart, and soul. I want to caution people to guard themselves against this disabling affliction. Continued stress and disappointments in any measure can add up until its weight can't be carried. Do what you have to do to relieve or stop stress. If it overtakes you, you and your loved ones will be affected for longer than you could imagine. Always being a passive person like my father, I often fell victim to persecution. You need to get clear discernment from God on how to react to unwarranted attacks on your person. If you are overcome, you will be helpless for yourself, your loved ones, and your God. When depression comes in force, what you were is gone. Confidence is replaced by doubt. Courage is replaced by fear. Strength is replaced to weakness. Happiness is gone. Sadness is always. Love is replaced by hollowness. Beauty is replaced to ugliness. Faith is replaced to numbness. Not living for the present, you review the negative past and have no desire for the future. Depression is real, and it is cruel. It takes life and turns it to death of the mind, spirit, and sometimes the body. If it wasn't for the grace of God and a 4-pound trigger pull, I wouldn't be here today. Depression has an ever-present magnetism for self-destruction and seclusion. Every day of your miserable condition, you think of wanting to die. Your only prayer to God is that He will end your life with its unbearable load. All this brings us back to the first question people ask me. How did you come out of that awful state? Bottom line, God answered the continued prayers of His faithful that loved me. The prayers that I was unable to pray. But there was more to my healing. Scarred from the abuse of an alcoholic parent, I was still hostage to a lie. You can't do anything, and you will never amount to anything, were very convincing to a short, fat kid with glasses. Depression keeps your mind's review button stuck, reliving every detail of your past for hundreds of times. You always come to a negative conclusion. Shortly before my miraculous recovery, I faced the lie, and God changed me to prove it was a lie. No longer do I let the angry and the arrogant define who I am. God defines who Dave is, and Dave defines who Dave is. God can break the granite of a false mindset. I want to say that again. God can break the granite of a false mindset. Ephesians 4:23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Approximately 10 months before I was totally healed, I started to enjoy and tell my little corny jokes again. A sticker on a card sent to me recently says, "The soul needs laughter like flowers need rain." 6 months after that, it was like a light switch being turned on. In no more than 2 days, I was back to and better than my old self. What a miracle He has given. I feel like I've been saved once again. I now enjoy life more than I ever did. My emotions are stable, but there are two things that get to me. Now I have tears of thankfulness and joy. I think of how God's love and mercy endures forever. There was only one set of footprints in the sand for over 4.5 years. I think about how I told my wife and caregiver that I wouldn't hold it against her if she separated from me. She said her love for me is forever. Sound familiar? That's just what our Lord said. Blessed day.